On a rainy Tuesday morning just outside Atlanta, a young black man named Jamal pulled over to help a stranger stranded on the side of the road. Her car, a sleek black Bentley, had a flat tire, but what Jamal didn't know was that the woman behind the wheel was Monica Leighton, a millionaire businesswoman known for her luxury interior design empire. He didn't ask who she was. He didn't care about the car or the clothes. He just knelt in the pouring rain and helped her without hesitation, expecting nothing in return. But that single act of kindness would trigger a chain of events that neither of them could have predicted. In the days that followed, Monica would go on a mission to find the mysterious young mechanic who disappeared as quickly as he came. What started as gratitude turned into admiration. What seemed like a chance encounter became a connection neither status, age, nor past mistakes could break. This is the unexpected, powerful, and deeply human story of how a flat tire led to an unbreakable bond, and how love can find us in the most ordinary, unexpected moments if we're brave enough to follow it. It was a rainy Tuesday morning on the outskirts of Atlanta, the kind of rain that didn't just fall but clung to the air like fog, making everything look washed out and tired. The roads were slick, lined with puddles, and the trees bent gently in the wind like they were whispering secrets. Jamal Harris, 26 years old and running on little sleep and a lot of hustle, drove his beat-up red pickup down the quiet stretch of highway that wound past the edge of town. The heater barely worked, the radio crackled in and out of static, and the windshield wipers made a noise like an old metronome. A click, screech, click. Jamal had just finished a night shift at the local auto shop where he worked part-time while taking online classes in the evenings. Every spare dollar went into a savings account labeled J&H Auto Garage, his dream. He'd been grinding for years, patching together side jobs and repairs to keep moving forward. Success wasn't just a goal, it was the only option. Up ahead his eyes caught something that didn't belong, a sleek black Bentley, parked awkwardly on the shoulder, hazard lights flashing like a heartbeat in distress. Jamal slowed down instinctively. You didn't see cars like that out here, too clean, too expensive, too lost. As he pulled up, he spotted a tall woman standing next to the car, holding her phone in one hand, shielding her face from the wind with the other. Her long coat, clearly designer, though soaked through, clung to her like it was never meant for weather like this. She was frustrated, pacing in heels unsuited for roadside emergencies, and glaring down at her phone as if it had personally betrayed her. Jamal rolled down his window. "You all right, ma'am?" He called out, his voice calm, polite. The woman turned, surprised. Her eyes scanned him, cautious but visibly relieved. Her makeup, though smudged, hinted at beauty and precision. She looked like she belonged on the cover of a lifestyle magazine, not stranded on the side of a back road. "Flat tire," she said, exhaling, "and no idea how to change it. I called for roadside assistance over an hour ago. Nothing." Jamal parked his truck a few feet ahead and stepped out into the rain. "Pop the trunk," he said. "I'll take a look." Before she could argue, Jamal was already inspecting the damage. The tire was shredded, likely from a sharp piece of debris, and the spare was untouched, sitting pristine in the trunk like it had never seen daylight. "You don't have to do this," she offered hesitantly, watching him work. "Really?" Jamal didn't respond right away. He was already kneeling, hands steady despite the cold, tools from his truck laid out neatly beside him. Rain ran off his jacket in streams, his fingers moving with practiced ease. It was like watching a sculptor chip away at marble, efficient, focused, calm. "Name's Monica," she said eventually, as if the silence felt too heavy. "Monica Leighton." He glanced up, smiled briefly. "Jamal," Monica hesitated, as if unsure whether to keep talking. "I own a design firm downtown, Leighton Interiors. Ever heard of it?" Jamal shook his head politely. "Can't say I have. I mostly fix things that live outside the house." She chuckled despite herself. "Fair enough." 15 minutes later, the spare tire was on, and the flat was secured in the trunk. Jamal stood, brushing his wet hands against his jeans. "You're all set," he said. She stared at him. "Let me pay you, please. You saved me from sitting here another hour." Jamal shook his head. "It's fine, ma'am. I help people when I can." no big deal. But I gotta get to work anyway." He added, already walking back toward his truck, "Take care." Before she could ask for his full name or even thank him properly, he was in the cab, engine rumbling, as he pulled back onto the road and disappeared into the drizzle. Monica stood frozen, a strange mix of gratitude and curiosity settling over her. She had met people with money, power, and ego. She had met men who offered help with a string attached, but this man Jamal helped her without hesitation and left without asking for anything. Not even a name. Back inside her Bentley, she sat behind the wheel, hands still on her lap, mind spinning. Who was that man? She didn't know it yet, but this wasn't the last time she'd see him. Not by a long shot. Back in her high-rise condo overlooking the Atlanta skyline, Monica Leighton sat at her dining table, her untouched coffee cooling beside her laptop. Her world was built on control, precise meetings, carefully curated designs, and million-dollar clients who demanded nothing less than perfection. But today, she felt anything but in control. She kept replaying the scene from the roadside in her mind, the way Jamal had appeared out of nowhere, the quiet strength in his voice, and the way he walked away without asking for thanks or attention. There was something different about him, something grounded and something rare. Her assistant, a young woman named Carla, walked in holding a notepad and a phone. "You've got 3 calls from clients, a showroom walk through at one, and your business partner wants to move Friday's meeting." Monica shook her head, eyes still on her coffee. "Put everything on hold for an hour." Carla blinked. "Everything? Yes, I need you to help me find someone." Now Carla was intrigued. Monica was not impulsive, not emotional. This was unusual. "Okay, who are we looking for?" Monica stood and paced slowly toward the tall windows. "A man, mid-20s maybe, drives a red pickup, rusty, loud, very old. Georgia plates. He changed my tire yesterday in the rain." Carla raised an eyebrow. "You're serious?" Monica nodded, dead serious. "I didn't get his full name, just Jamal. He wouldn't take money, just disappeared, and I can't stop thinking about him." Within an hour, Monica had posted on her personal and company Instagram accounts, along with Twitter and Facebook. A photo of the black Bentley parked on the roadside accompanied the caption, "Yesterday, a young man named Jamal helped me with a flat tire in the rain. He drove an old red truck, wouldn't take $1 from me, and quietly disappeared. If anyone knows him, please help me find him. The world needs more people like him. And I owe him more than a thank you." What started as a humble post turned into an unexpected storm. Comments flooded in, people shared, tagged, speculated. Within a few hours, local influencers reposted it. A regional news station picked it up as a feel-good story during their evening segment. Who is Jamal, the mystery mechanic? Meanwhile, Jamal had no idea any of this was happening. Back in his quiet neighborhood, he returned to his routine. Early mornings fixing brake pads and alternators at a small garage owned by Mr. Carter, an old family friend. In the evenings, he logged into his online business classes, often eating dinner over spreadsheets and video lectures. Life was predictable, focused, and in many ways isolating. He never expected to be noticed. That wasn't why he helped people. But things were about to change. One morning, while wiping grease from his hands at the front desk of the garage, a customer walked in. An older woman with a bright yellow umbrella and a wide smile. She didn't say hello. Instead, she held up her phone. "Hey, you're that guy, you're famous now," she said. Jamal furrowed his brow. "What?" She turned the screen to face him. There it was, a viral post, his truck. The Bentley, Monica's face, and his name. He stared at the screen, unsure how to react. He hadn't told anyone about that moment, not because he was hiding it, but because it didn't seem like a big deal to him. Just another day, just another good deed. Before he could even finish reading the post, the unmistakable hum of a Bentley rolled into the lot. Everyone in the garage turned to look as the sleek black car pulled in slowly, like a spaceship landing in a scrapyard. The door opened, and out stepped Monica Leighton, confident, radiant, and smiling, like she had just found something she thought she'd lost. Jamal froze. "Hey," she said, walking toward him. "Took me a minute to find you." Jamal wiped his hands again, awkward. "Ma'am, I didn't expect Monica," she interrupted gently. "Just Monica." He nodded slowly, unsure of what came next. She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a business card along with a folded brochure. "I have a proposition," she said. "I don't just want to thank you, I want to invest in you." Jamal looked down at the card, then up at her. The whole shop was silent now, watching. "I read about your dream," she added, sensing his hesitation. "I found your website, J&H Auto Garage. You've got something special, Jamal, and I don't just mean your hands. I mean your heart. Let's talk." And just like that, the young man who quietly helped a stranger on the side of the road found himself standing face to face with an opportunity he never imagined. One that would change everything. Days turned into a week, no calls, no texts, no visits. Jamal tried to tell himself she was just busy. Maybe traveling for work, maybe taking time off. But deep down, he knew something was wrong. Monica was never careless. She didn't just disappear, especially not from him. He left her messages, tried her assistant, checked the social media accounts she once posted on like clockwork. All silent, each passing day felt heavier. The garage still ran smoothly. J&L Auto Works was thriving, but Jamal wasn't really there. His body showed up, his heart was elsewhere. Then, one rainy afternoon, as Jamal locked up the garage, Mr. Carter walked in holding a large cream-colored envelope. "Got dropped off for you earlier," he said, handing it to Jamal. "Didn't look like junk mail." Jamal frowned, wiping his hands on a rag before tearing it open. Inside was a folded letter on thick stationery. His name was handwritten at the top. "Jamal, I wish I could explain this in person, but I wasn't given that choice. I'm in Miami. My ex-husband, Derek, found out about us, or at least about the closeness we've built. He still holds influence over my company. I thought I was free, but his claws were deeper than I realized. He threatened to launch a legal and financial assault if I didn't distance myself from you. You'll lose your business and everything you've worked for," he said. "So I left, not because I wanted to, but because I was afraid. Afraid that if I stayed, he'd destroy you, and I couldn't let that happen. I don't know what comes next. I just wanted you to know I never lied, not about the garage, not about you. Not about how I felt." Monica Jamal sat in silence for a long time, the letter trembling slightly in his hand. Fear, manipulation, this wasn't just business anymore, it was war. And if Monica had sacrificed everything to protect him, he wasn't going to let that be the end. He booked a one-way ticket to Miami the next morning. 3 days later, the Fontaine Hotel hosted the Florida Elite Design and Development Gala, an exclusive event crawling with industry power players, billion-dollar clients, and champagne in crystal flutes. Derek Leeton was one of the headliners. Smiling for cameras and shaking hands like the king he believed himself to be. Monica was there too, standing in a silver gown beside a glass railing, smiling through clenched teeth. She hadn't seen Jamal since she left. She didn't know he was coming, but Derek did, and he wasn't happy. Jamal arrived wearing a borrowed suit that didn't quite fit, walking through the lobby like he belonged there. He moved past security, head high, eyes fixed on one thing. When he stepped onto the rooftop deck, conversation slowed. Heads turned. Some people whispered, some recognized him from the viral post weeks ago. The mechanic who helped a millionaire. Derek noticed him immediately, his smile tightening. "You've got nerve," Derek said through a smirk, walking toward him. "This isn't your kind of place." Jamal stood still, calm, direct. "You don't get to scare good people into silence," he said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. A hush fell over the space. "You think money gives you the right to control someone's life," Jamal continued, his voice firm. "You tried to make her choose between love and survival, but you forget Monica's built from strength, not fear." Monica's eyes filled with tears. She hadn't expected him to fight. She hadn't expected anyone to fight for her. Derek's mask cracked for a moment, but he recovered quickly, gesturing for security. But it was too late. Phones were out. The media was watching. The crowd was silent, waiting. Monica stepped forward. "I'm done being quiet," she said, "and I'm done letting you hold anything over me." She turned to the crowd, to the reporters. "Effective immediately, I am selling my shares in Leeton Interiors. I'm done with boardrooms that demand silence in exchange for power. I choose freedom. The rooftop erupted into murmurs. Derek stood frozen. Jamal took Monica's hand, and together they walked out through the flashing cameras, through the doubt, through the judgment, back into the world, free for the first time. Back in Atlanta, news of the confrontation hit social media like wildfire. Clips of Jamal's words went viral. Monica's courage was praised by women across the country. The story wasn't just about business anymore. It was about standing up for love, for truth, and for yourself. A week later, Monica returned. She didn't arrive in a Bentley this time. She walked into J&L Auto Works on a quiet Thursday morning, holding 2 coffees and a tired but genuine smile. "I'm home," she said. Jamal didn't need to say a word. He just held out his arms, and she stepped into them exactly where she belonged. Months had passed since the Miami confrontation. The dust had settled, the headlines had faded, but Jamal and Monica's story kept growing quietly, steadily, powerfully. The garage was no longer just a garage. It had become a symbol. J&L Auto Works wasn't just about fixing cars. It was about second chances, about building trust, about people. Customers came from neighborhoods near and far, drawn not just by quality work, but by the story behind the name. But Jamal and Monica were dreaming even bigger. They had spent late nights sketching ideas on napkins, arguing playfully over names and mission statements, combining Monica's experience in luxury branding with Jamal's practical knowledge of what real people needed from an auto service. The result, Leighton Motors, a new kind of auto brand, equal parts elegance and accessibility, a company with polished showrooms, sleek electric vehicle designs, and community garages in underserved neighborhoods, staffed by young mechanics trained through paid apprenticeships. Monica handled the design and partnerships. Jamal oversaw operations and training. It was both a business and a movement. And now they stood side by side at the grand opening of their flagship location, a gleaming showroom and garage hybrid in the heart of Atlanta with steel and glass walls, solar roofs, and murals painted by local artists. A large crowd had gathered. Media outlets set up their cameras. Guests mingled under white tents, while the scent of catered food mixed with the subtle hum of electric engines. Jamal wore a tailored navy suit, still a little stiff in it, still more comfortable in grease-stained jeans, but standing tall. Monica stood beside him in a flowing burgundy dress that caught the wind and the light, her eyes filled with something she hadn't felt in years, peace. As the MC stepped up to the podium and began introducing them, flashbulbs popped, reporters scribbled, and Jamal leaned slightly toward Monica. "You nervous?" he asked quietly. She shook her head, not anymore. When it was their turn to speak, Monica stepped forward, cleared her throat, and looked out at the crowd. "A little over a year ago," she began, "I stood on the side of the road in the rain, frustrated, alone, and stuck. I had a flat tire. I had millions in the bank, but no clue how to fix a simple problem." The audience chuckled. "And then, out of nowhere, a man in a rusty red truck pulled over, changed my tire, and drove off before I could even say thank you. He didn't care who I was. He didn't want anything in return. He just helped." She looked over at Jamal, her eyes softening. His name was Jamal, and that simple act of kindness changed my entire life. The applause was immediate. Jamal stepped up next. "I didn't know who she was," he said. "All I saw was someone who needed help. I didn't expect her to remember me. I definitely didn't expect to be standing here today." He looked around, pausing before continuing. "But here's what I've learned. Real connection doesn't care about money or background or what kind of car you drive. Sometimes fate puts 2 people in the same place at the same time, not to impress each other but to heal each other, to build something neither of them could have built alone." The crowd rose to their feet, clapping louder than ever. As the ribbon was cut and confetti filled the air, cameras zoomed in, capturing a private moment between them. Monica leaned over and whispered with a smile, "I stopped believing in love until I got a flat tire." Jamal grinned, slipping his hand into hers. "Best roadside call I ever answered." In the weeks that followed, their story made national news. Not just because it was romantic, but because it felt real. Two people from different worlds who built something together based on mutual respect, shared vision, and quiet resilience. They didn't move fast, they didn't sell out, they stayed grounded. Leighton Motors expanded to 2 more cities within the year. Jamal hired a staff of local trainees. Monica launched a mentorship program for women entrepreneurs who had been pushed out of the boardroom. And every month, they still met up late at night in the break room, sharing laughs over takeout, dreaming of what they could build next. Because in the end, this wasn't just a love story. It was a story about what happens when one small act of kindness cracks open the door to something extraordinary. 2 people, 1 flat tire, and a future neither of them saw coming, but neither of them would trade for the world. And Jamal and Monica's story reminds us that life can change in the most unexpected moments. A flat tire on a rainy day became the start of a journey filled with growth, love, and transformation. It wasn't about money or status, it was about character, connection, and the power of showing up for someone else. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness is all it takes to open a door to something extraordinary. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful, real-feeling stories that remind us of the good still left in the world. Leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced a moment where fate stepped in when you least expected it? We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and remember, one kind act can change a life, maybe even yours.